not consistent enough. Like even later in my career, just wasn't consistent enough, and that was partially because I still didn't understand my role, um, which most guys probably didn't, anyways.
Well, I want to stick on that for a sec. That's a really good point, and it's like kind of a subtle thing because that was something I didn't articulate it to myself that way, but that was something I struggled with too, is not consistent enough because I didn't know exactly what kind of player I
Yeah,
was, you know. So in my position, like, so I was bigger, like a little bit bigger than average,
yeah,
maybe, and I was never taught ever to be physical, never. So in my first year of junior, that was the first time anyone ever told me. My coach brought me in, and thankfully he did, and he was telling me you need to do other things than just try to get points. And I was like, oh, didn't
yeah.
know.
Right.
Like I didn't know the importance of finish. It sounds stupid, but I didn't know the importance
Things
of
have changed.
yeah.
Though.
I didn't know the importance of finishing your checks. I didn't know the importance of because I'm a bigger guy. There's things that I can do with my size that other kids can't do. I didn't know that. Like no one told me that, and it wasn't something that people who were teaching me hockey up to that point knew either. So nobody told me about that at all. So those pieces were missing. So it's hard to be consistent when you don't exactly know what your goals are each game in terms of what you should be doing. Because if you know what you should be doing, like you said before with Charlie, then you can I need to work towards this, I need to work towards this, I need to work towards this. But if that's not defined for you, then how the hell are you supposed to know what to do every game?
Yeah.
So it's hard to be consistent when you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. So it's really important that if nobody tells you, then you need to figure out what your role is on your own so that you can actually work towards that. And that will really help the consistency thing, which is a huge problem for a lot of kids, right?
Yeah. Well, and so I was just, as you're saying that, it's very funny. I think I've said this before, but a few years ago when I was doing this, I was doing the skills for the Windsor Spitfires, and Bobby Jones was on the ice with me. Well, all the coaches came on the ice. And I went up to Bobby, who coaches in Ottawa Senators now. DJ Smith was there, and all these guys, Boogie and Reichel. Anyways, they were all on the ice, but it was my practice to run for skills. So as we're warming up, I go to Jonesy. I go, Jonesy, how many coaches did you have on the bench when you played in the Sioux Junior, 1985 to 1990? And he goes, one. I go, same, one. And I said, in Hamilton, we had an assistant coach one year. He goes, yeah. He goes, crazy. I go, look at this. I go, there's me as a skills coach. There's you, DJ, Boogie, and Warren came on. There's 5 coaches on the, and a goalie coach. There's 6 coaches on the ice right now.
Yeah.
Said we never had that. In fact, my coach never even came to practices. We had to figure it all on our own. So with and most teams are like this. So I'm just gonna go through Charlie's team right now. Look at what you have right now. So he has George, who's been coaching in the league or the NHL for the last 32 years. Experience. And coaches are a lot more, they communicate a lot more. So it's not so, like, George is pretty gruff, but he's great. Like, he's great, gets the point across, and he's got assistants. So he just hired another assistant. So they have 2 excellent assistant coaches. Excellent. That they communicate, they spend time with kids, they're involved in, like, all the aspects of them. They're friendly, but you can talk to them, and you get along with them. So that's a bonus. Then they have 2 skills coaches and a skating coach. So they got 6 coaches now. So the 2 skills coaches, Corey Locke played in Ottawa, played in pro for a bunch of years, but he's 160 points with the Ottawa 67s. Almost broke a record. He's one of the skills coaches that spends time with the kids and teaches them, do this, here in this situation, this, in this situation, this. They got Denver, that's a Leafs skills coach. That's part of their team that spends time with them once or twice a week after practices as well or during practice. Plus they have Barb Underhill, who's a skating coach. Mm-hmm. Plus they have a mental toughness coach, which is huge. So we're up to 7 to 8 coaches now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Plus they have 2 strength coaches plus a athletic therapist that helps with stuff. So they're like 10 coaches.
Yeah.
And the point I'm saying to that is, like, now, like, so you were saying, like, you didn't know. That's only like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But how it's evolved now is that if you actually want to play, all you have to do is ask questions, and then once you hear the answer, do the work. It's so good. So I, as a dad, because one of the biggest things I've always said this, even from a young age, is like, people would say, so he's going to be a hockey player. You think he'll play? He'll be good. Do you want him to play? And I answered it very honestly, saying, I don't know. I don't know, because when I look at, I am who I am today, and I've come a long, long way. But I look at 16 to 22 years old, how I was just scrambled eggs up north of the eyebrows, just scrambled eggs, and just emotionally
Lost.
spent
Mm-hmm.
and hated. Like I doubted myself in every aspect of that you can possibly imagine. And I don't, and physically, you know, like I always say, these eyebrows don't look like this because I pluck them. There's you know, hundreds of stitches in my freaking eyes and loose teeth, and
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that for my son. I don't know, because it was a long, lonely road. A lot of nights you're laying in bed just going,
Yeah.
God, this is hard. It is supposed to be hard, but you're sitting there and it's just emotions just ripping you apart. And I didn't know how to deal with it. But I look at how my son, and I'm not just saying my son, but how kids can come through this now. And there's actually very, very good people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them. So if you go to a team like my son's team, I'm just so I can't even tell you how thankful I am. He's got a coach that wants to if you want to be a pro hockey player, listen to me. He's gruff, but he's honest and he's great. But he's got knowledge and he shares knowledge. He's got assistant coaches that actually care, and it's not all about them. It's about the team. It's like, truly, there's so many good people in place. It's up to you not to succeed. And then it'll come down to the point that probably just, if you don't make it, it's just because you're not good enough.
Yeah.
If you do everything right. And that's a good way to end it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and there's, outside of the people too, there's just resources that you can get to, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go find people, you can go find resources, you can go find those things to get yourself centered, so you're not like feeling like you're lost.
Yeah.
Because even now, like, and maybe you feel the same way, but when I think back for myself, I didn't feel like I was lost at the time. But when I think about it now, it's like, dude, you were lost, man. Like, you didn't have a clue. Like,
the first 2 years, I knew I was freaking lost. I knew that I was like not a clue.
Mm-hmm.
I just went out and just tried to survive the day every single day. And it's really tough, because when you have that stress, it plays with you in a lot of different ways. By my third, fourth year, I didn't think I was lost, but I was lost.
Yeah.
I was at the airport waiting for my ship to come in.
Yeah.
I was lost. Lost. Like, not a clue.